Hello everyone, welcome to my channel MAK Labs. Let's recall in what different ways is the diversity in living things seen. The diversity in living things is seen due to their different shape, size, color and different structure of the body. A great variety of plants is found on the earth. Some plants have colorful flowers, some plants grow in water, whereas some are to be found in deserts which have a scarcity of water. Some plants are found only in snowy regions. Some plants cannot be seen without a microscope, whereas some are huge in size. Like plants, animals too show diversity. Some are unicellular, which means made up of one cell, and others are multicellular, which means made up of more than one cell. Some are vertebrates, which means they have vertebral column, whereas others are invertebrates that don't have vertebral column. This world is full of variety of animals: aquatic, terrestrial, amphibian, reptilian, aerial, etc. These observations give rise to the question, how did this great diversity come into being? Can you tell, are the plants and animals from Kashmir and Rajasthan of the same type? Can you elaborate on any differences between the two? Coniferous trees like pine and deodar flourish in snowy regions like Kashmir. However, in the deserts of Rajasthan, plants like cactus and acacia, that is babool, are to be found. The camel is a desert animal, is not found in Kashmir. What is the reason for these differences? Let us understand this in our first chapter, The Living World, Adaptations and Classification. Adaptation. Gradual changes occur in the body parts and also in the behavior of organisms, which help them to adjust to their surroundings. Such changes are called adaptations. As these are gradual changes, means slow changes, they take place over long period of time. Let's study the adaptation in plants and animals. Adaptation in plants. Observe and complete the given chart. For example, lotus is an aquatic plant. It has fibrous root having large, round, broad leaves with a waxy layer and having hollow and flexible stem. Cactus is a terrestrial plant. It has taproot having small needle-shaped or thorny leaves and fleshy and bulgy stem. Banyan is a terrestrial plant. It has taproot as well as prop roots having large, broad and oval-shaped leaves and thick, hard and strong stem. Rose is a terrestrial plant. It has taproot having short and thorny leaves and fine, delicate green stem with thin bark. Hibiscus is a terrestrial plant. It has taproot having medium-sized broad leaves with thorny edges and hard, strong, blackish-brown stem with thin bark. In this way, you can include other plants from your own region too. Adaptations in aquatic plants. Try this. Visit various water bodies such as a river, brook, pond, lake in your surroundings. What differences do you observe between terrestrial and aquatic plants? Note them in a table like this. I hope you will do this. Some of the aquatic plants are firmly rooted in the soil at the bottom of the water bodies. Their stems are submerged while leaves and flowers float on surface. However, some plants are entirely afloat. Their roots are not anchored in the soil. The surfaces of the leaves and stems of many aquatic plants are covered with a waxy layer. Leaves of some aquatic plants are thin and slender like a ribbon. This shape helps them to withstand fast currents of water. Air spaces in stems and petioles of aquatic plants are useful for floating in the water. Use your brain power. Why does water trickle off lotus leaves? The leaves of lotus plant are large, round and broad with a thin waxy layer on their surface. Thus, water does not get accumulated on the leaves. Why don't the leaves of these plants rot in water? As water does not get accumulated on the leaves due to thin waxy layer, the leaves do not rot due to water. Why are their roots short and fibrous? This plant grows in swampy areas, therefore roots of this plant do not have to spread wide and far in search of water. Hence, their roots are short. Besides, firmly anchored in the soil, the roots of these plants are fibrous. Adaptations in desert plants. Try this. Take two potted plants, one a cactus and the other a leafy plant. Tie plastic bags loosely around the leaves of these plants and keep them in sunlight from early in the morning in the afternoon. Bring those pots in the classroom and observe them. Has the same quantity of water collected in both bags? Of course not. Desert plants are either leafless or their leaves are like small needles or have been modified into thorns. As a result, they lose very little water by evaporation. The stem stores water and food and is therefore fleshy. The stem are green as they perform photosynthesis. In the absence of leaves, their roots penetrate deep into the soil in search of water. There is a thick layer of a waxy substance on the stems of these plants too. Adaptation in plants of snowy regions. Can you tell? In what ways are sloping branches useful to the plants in snowy regions? Plants of snowy regions mainly include conifers like deodar and pine. These trees are conical in shape due to their sloping branches. In the heavy snowfall and extreme cold in these regions, their conical shape prevents the snow from accumulating on the tree, and the thick bark helps the tree to withstand the cold. Adaptations in plants of forest regions. A variety of plants, trees, shrubs and herbs are found in forests. These plants compete amongst themselves for sunlight. Hence, trees grow tall to get sunlight and climbers and vines grow to a great height with the support of trees. Spring-like tendrils on the stems of some climbers is an example of adaptation. Adaptation in grassland plants. Diverse type of bushes and grasses are found in the grasslands. Fibrous roots of grasses prevent soil erosion. Grasses in equatorial region are very tall. Animals like tiger, elephants and deer can remain hidden in these grasses. However, grasses in cold regions are very short. Animals like rabbit are found in such a grasses. Vast meadows are found in hilly areas as well as plains. Observe and discuss. Observe and note down the adaptations in parts of plants like potato, groundnut, yam, water hyacinth, aloe, acacia, carrot, onion, beet, bitter gourd, grape, vines, etc. and other plants in your surroundings. Adaptation for ingestion of food in plants. Most of the plants are anchored in the soil and are autotrophic. However, plants like dodder, that is Cuscuta, are parasitic. The plant body of dodder consists of yellow wire-like stems. It is leafless and cannot perform photosynthesis. However, it has haustorial, that is sucking roots for absorbing nutrients from the host plant. These roots penetrate up to the conducting vessels of the host plant to absorb water and food. Fungi do not have chlorophyll and cannot perform photosynthesis. They obtain food from starchy foodstuffs like bhakri and bread. They have root-like fibers for absorption of food. Plants need nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium for growth. Plants that grow in soil which is deficient in nitrogen like Drosera, that is sundew, Venus flytrap, pitcher plant, etc. fulfill their need for nitrogen by consuming insects. Adaptations are seen in these plants which serve to attract insect and hold them captive. We are going to learn this in detail in our 4th chapter. My friend, the internet. Collect information about plant adaptations from websites like www.mbgnet. After studying the adaptations in plants, let's see adaptation in animals. Make a list of animals in your surroundings. Compare the diversity of animals listed by your friends with your list. Discuss the habitats, food habits, characteristics of the body structure like vertebral column, wings, gills, tails, etc. and prepare a chart. For example, dogs live on land. It feeds on foodstuffs like meat, bhakri, chapati. It has a vertebral column but does not have wings and gills. Dog has a tail. Cow lives on land. It feeds on hay. It has a vertebral column. It does not have wings and gills. Cow has tail. Duck lives in water. It feeds on small fishes and worms. Duck has a vertebral column and wings but does not have gills. A duck's tail is of characteristic type. Fishes live in water. Algae and small worms is its food. It has a vertebral column but does not have wings. It has gills and tail. Pigeons live on tree and flies in the air. Pigeon feeds on food grains. It has wings but does not have gills. Like duck, pigeon's tail is also of characteristic type. In this way, you can also make list of animals in your surroundings. What differences do you see between terrestrial and aquatic animals as compared to terrestrial animals, the skin and body shape of aquatic animals appear to have undergone changes. Fishes have scales on the skin and fins on the body. Their body tapers towards both its ends. It's like a spindle shaped. Fish breathe with gills instead of a nose. Their eyes have transparent eyelids. They have air bladders within the body to help them to float. Observe the bodies of the frog, duck, and tortoise. Of what use are their legs to these animals? A frog uses its legs to jump, while ducks and tortoise use their legs to walk. What helps frogs to breathe underwater? A frog breathes through its skin underwater. Of what use are the long hind legs of a frog? The long hind legs of a frog are used to jump. Why doesn't a duck get wet in water? Due to its characteristic waxy feathers, a duck doesn't get wet in water. As the frog and duck have webbed toes, they can use their legs like ours. Water flows off the waxy feathers of birds like duck and waterhen. Webbed toes, slippery, smooth skin, and a triangular head helps frogs to swim easily through water. They can live on land as well as in water due to their ability to breathe through the skin in water and using the nose and lungs on land. The typical color of a frog's back helps it to hide among grasses. Make a list of the names of some other amphibians you know and study their adaptations. Adaptation in forest and grassland animals. Carnivorous animals like the wild dog, fox, tiger, and lion have strong legs to run fast and capture their prey. They have claws and their canine teeth are sharp and pointed. What is the function of such a teeth? Tigers have padded paws. This enables them to silently stalk their prey and capture it easily. The eyes of predatory carnivores are located in the front of their head. It helps them to spot their prey from a long distance. The eyes of herbivores are below the forehead, on either side of their head. This gives them wide-angle vision, which helps to protect them from predators. Their legs are long and tapering with strong hooves, which enables them to run fast, taking long leaps. Their long and freely moving ears can receive sounds from long distances and different directions. Deer and blackbucks have colors that merge with their surroundings. Their teeth are strong for chewing tough plant material. Adaptation in desert animals. Deserts are characterized by severe scarcity of water. Hence, desert animals have a thick skin to prevent loss of water from the body. Their legs are long with flat and cushioned soles. The nostrils are protected by folds of skin. The eyelashes are long and thick. Rats, snakes, spiders, lizards in deserts live in deep burrows during daytime and are active at night. Adaptation in animals of snowy regions. From the internet, download images of animals like yak, polar bear, white fox, silver fox, mountain goat, Siberian husky dog, and snow leopard. Compare these images with those of similar animals from tropical forest. A white or silver body color, long thick hair on the skin are typical characteristics of animals of snowy regions. How are these useful to them? Adaptation in aerial animals. Can you tell what is the main difference between vehicles on the road and aeroplanes? The front and back side of a car is flat and slightly tapering, whereas the front and back side of an aeroplane is curved and tapering. This shape of aeroplanes minimizes the resistance of air while flying. The spindle-shaped body of birds also minimizes the resistance of air while flying. With hollow bones, a body covering of feathers and modification of forelegs into wings, their body is light in weight and adapted for flying. The body of insects also is light in weight and tapers at both ends. They can fly with 2 pairs of wings and also walk with 6 stick-like legs. Bats can fly with the help of the patagium, a thin fold of skin between their forelegs and hind legs. Observe the various birds and insects in your area. Adaptations in reptiles. Observe from a distance how snakes and earthworms creep. Which organs do they use for creeping? Are there any special changes for that purpose? Note any such changes. Animals like house lizard, garden lizard, crocodile use their muscles for creeping. Similarly, they show adaptations in skin, soles of feet, body color, etc. For example, the house lizard and monitor lizard have claws, toes, and thin soles, whereas snakes have scaly skin. Adaptation for food in animals. We can categorize animals as herbivorous and carnivorous. Special adaptations are seen in each category to make the process of feeding easy. We will discuss this in greater detail in the chapter on nutrition. Watch the programs on channels like National Geographic Wild, Discovery, etc. to learn about the feeding habits of animals like frogs, snakes, birds, mosquitoes, butterflies, etc. Complete the following chart from your own observations. Adaptations for blending with the surroundings. We cannot easily spot colorful butterflies lizards, and grasshoppers. They get camouflaged amidst grasses, parts of plants like stem, leaves, flowers, etc. That is because their colors blend with those of their surroundings. Changes that take place in various organs and life processes of organisms that enable them to live, feed, reproduce, and perpetuate themselves and protect themselves from their enemies in specific surroundings, depending upon the habitat and its geographical conditions, are called adaptations. Always remember, adaptation is not a sudden process, it is gradual and continuous. Differences in the structure and appearance of present day animals and animals of thousands of years ago are the adaptations that occurred according to prevailing conditions. It is our duty to conserve this diversity. Charles Darwin, a biologist, studied numerous types of plants and animals and suggested that only those organisms are likely to survive which can best adapt themselves to changing environment. This is called the theory of survival of the fittest. This is Darwin's first principle. If an organism is born with new beneficial characteristic and is able to survive, this change is preserved in the next generation. This is Darwin's second principle and is called the theory of natural selection. After studying the adaptations, let's see the classification of living organisms. Let's recall, why are living things classified? Which are the criteria used for classification of plants and animals? It is difficult to study and remember all the organisms in this diverse living world at the same time. Classification helps in this respect. Different scientists have used different criteria and independently classified plants and animals. A hierarchy is formed in the classification that starts with kingdom Animalia or kingdom Plantae. Further groups and subgroups are formed depending upon basic similarities and differences. This is called the hierarchy of classification. Binomial nomenclature by Carl Linnaeus. Imagine there are 4 students with a name Kabir or Kiran in a classroom. If you are talking about any one of them, how would you ensure that others know which one of them you are talking about without any confusion? We would tell the full name, that is the first name and the last name. This is similar to binomial nomenclature of the living world. Binomial nomenclature is used to identify each organism. Accordingly, a scientific name has been assigned to each organism. Here, the bi prefix indicates 2. It consists of 2 parts. First part is genus and second species. All identified organisms have been assigned a binomial name as per the guidelines of the International Code of Nomenclature. All the organisms of a species are so similar that irrespective of differences in color, height, habitats and habits, they can reproduce among themselves and form new individuals like themselves. For example, all domestic cats in the world belongs to the same species. The same is true in case of animals like hen, cow, dog, etc., and plants like mango, wheat, maize, etc. Let's see some examples of organisms from kingdom Plantae and Animalia classified by the binomial method of nomenclature. Find out scientific names of other animals or plants in your surroundings and discuss them in the class. 29th of April is observed as World Frog Protection Day. Killing or harming frogs is prohibited by the Wildlife Protection Act.